At first glance, the Occupy Wall Street protests make a lot of people kind of scratch their heads and ask, so what is this all about? Well, some observers see an unfocused crowd carrying quirky signs, wearing costumes like this group dressed as corporate zombies. But in a new cnn.com opinion piece, author Douglas Rushkoff argues this movement isn't just important, it's actually groundbreaking. He's joining us right now via Skype from New York. So Douglas, you say this is America's first true internet era movement. Explain.
Well, in some way, I guess the easiest way to think about it is traditional movements from, the civil rights movement or the women's movement, environmental movement even. From the 20th century, they're more like a book. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. They have a goal, and we reach that goal. They're like a political campaign, and then you win, and it's done.
But often
Yay.
It's a collective, it's a focused goal. This one is an interspersement of several goals, is it not?
Right. There's sort of a wider array of things, and I think that's been very confusing, certainly to mainstream media, because those of us in mainstream media are trying to figure out what are these people saying so we can communicate that to our viewers.
Right.
And when we get very frustrated when they won't just tell us what is it you want. Because the problem is what they're looking at now are the many different symptoms there are of the sort of the wider economic problem. Those symptoms are environmental, there are labor problems, there's union problems, there's education problems, there's housing problems, there's corruption problems. So many different people are talking about many different aspects, many different symptoms of the same disease. Okay. The beauty of the sort of internet style engagement is that they're patient, is that they're waiting, they're arguing, they're discussing, they're teaching each other, and they're trying to allow their agenda really to coalesce, to come together over time.
Well, then with that patience, waiting for what? Waiting for an answer, several answers, and from whom?
Well, think of it like this. Like the idea of Congress, say, was that people would argue and discuss and arrive at an agenda, a series of solutions to a problem. That's obviously not working because they're not having an honest discussion over there. That's not what that's about. So if you actually go to Occupy Wall Street and walk around, and rather than just try to cover them, if we just go and listen, what you hear are people discussing issues in a much more profoundly intelligent way than they're being discussed on our debate shows and in the halls of Congress. And that's where it's really not rocket science to figure out what's going on, what's wrong here. We understand how legislation is done. We understand that the disparity of wealth is getting greater. We understand that the derivatives market doesn't really serve the real economy.
At least one thing that I think most people do agree that it is interesting, it's been intriguing, and it is growing. Douglas Rushkoff, thanks so much for your time joining us via Skype.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, you can read Doug's piece at cnn.com/opinion. If you like, you can join the conversation and leave a comment for him as well.